Hey there guys, welcome to Oaks and Arrows. My name is Erin and I am a homeschooling mom of four. If you haven't been here before, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Today we are talking about some of the routines, schedules, and systems that I implement into our homeschool days to help keep everything running really smoothly and efficiently throughout our day. I homeschool our four young kids, ages now 10, 8, 5, and 3. And I also am a pastor's wife. I run our children's ministry programs and I run a once a week homeschool co-op. And so all of those things keep me very, very busy throughout our week. And so, you mix that with doctor's appointments, just the regular busyness of having four kids, it's a lot. So I just have some different systems, schedules, routines that we keep throughout our day. So that way our day runs smoothly, efficiently, and we can get more accomplished in our day without my children or even myself constantly asking what's next. And that's really the key to these systems in my home, is taking out the what's next question from my kids' day and from my day. A little bit about me. I tend to be a little ADHD, and I honestly don't know if that's like an official type of diagnosis. I've never gone to get diagnosed, or if it's just the busyness of adulthood and motherhood and keeping all these things straight. If I don't have things written down, I forget what I'm doing in the middle of doing it. So this helps me keep a flow to our day, a rhythm to our day. My kids just know what to do and I know what to do, and it just minimizes the chaos in our home. I know that these sorts of videos that I've seen from other homeschooling moms are super helpful. So I'm hoping that me sharing what we're doing in our homeschool and in our home is helpful to you guys. So if this is the type of content that you like to see, I'd love a thumbs up, a like, and we'll get into what we do in a typical day in our homeschool, from our morning, how that goes, to our chore systems, to our actual homeschooling routine that we keep on a daily basis. So follow along and I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm gonna first start by talking about how I go about planning our homeschool year and the strategy I use to do that. It's nothing like super official or fancy. It's just, this is how I calculate how much time we need in our homeschool year. Keep in mind that my children are young. My oldest is in 4th grade. With that, a lot of times the curriculums have less lessons, which gives us a little more flexibility. Right now, we can finish all of our curriculums and everything we need to do for our school year in about 32 weeks. As kids get older, school years tend to run more like 36 to 38 weeks. I know in our public school systems, the school year runs 36 to 37 weeks. We kind of follow the school year, but we have a lot more flexibility in that with homeschooling. I follow a typical calendar year for homeschooling, similar to what a public school uses. And by that, I mean we start sometime in August and we try to end by the end of May. And that is because primarily where we live. I know a lot of people love to do year-round homeschooling, and that is just not feasible for us for 2 reasons. One, the weather where we live. We live in a place where most of the year for about 6 months of the year, it's pretty cold and there's very little time spent outdoors. So those are the months we're really cracking out homeschooling and spending a lot more time at home. And there's less like general ministry activities going on other than like holiday stuff. And then in the summertime, that is our only 12 to 16 weeks of really nice weather where we know we can be outside most of the day. We only get nice weather like that a few months of the year. So it would be silly for us to not take advantage of that by having our kids come in to school to do school and then have tons of months in the winter where they can't hardly get outside. So we take a 12 to even 14-week summer, depending on how productive our school year was. And then we start school sometime in August. And I base that start date by doing what I've heard people call backwards planning. And basically how I do that is I figure out what I want our last week of school to be. And I just mark that down in pencil because anything could change at any moment with homeschooling. But I basically choose when I want our last week to be. I try to do that before Memorial Weekend because we have birthdays that fall the very last of May. And so I like to try to be done with school before those birthdays so that I can plan a party. And then we also have lots and lots of summer activities with ministry, with my husband being pastor, with me doing children's ministry. So our goal and date originally was this last week of May before Memorial Weekend. I can tell you right now, due to a nasty flu bug that went through our home, that we probably have an extra 2 weeks of school. That's why I write everything in pencil. But you'll see that I just mark the weeks right there, week 31, week 30. And then I just plan backwards. I don't do lesson by lesson. I don't write those details down. We don't have to in our state. Make sure you check your state requirements in case you need those details. But we just go week by week. And then if I need to adjust those weeks due to a trip or a vacation, I can. And that's kind of why we're possibly going into June this year, is because, as you can see there, right after we got back from Christmas break, we had week 17, week 18, and then 2 weeks of a trip we took. And then I planned back. I like to try to take a 3-week Christmas break, and we did that this year. I like to take 1 week off for Thanksgiving. We did that this year. And then I pad the year with, if I know we're taking a trip, I put that into the calendar and plan the days needed for that. And then I pad the school year with 1 to 2 extra weeks for sickness. I mean, we have 4 young kids, and when a bug goes through our house, it definitely takes a full week, like a flu bug. It takes a full week for each kid to recover from that. That's why I pad that into my school year. And so then I just count backwards all the weeks that we would be doing school back until I reach week 1. And that brought us to a start date of August 12th when we don't have as many trips planned. There's been years I've been able to start after Labor Day, but this year I knew there was going to be more trips planned. And then, like I said, I also pad our school year with a couple weeks of sickness. I just add 2 weeks to the beginning of our school year. So that way, if we're sick or we have several doctor's appointments, those sorts of things, it doesn't throw off our whole school year. So that's how I plan the year. The planner I was just showing you, I'll show you what it is. This is a plum paper planner, and I have been using this planner for, geez, I've been using a planner like this for almost 10 years. I loved it for teaching because I used it just for teaching. And I will say that that planner works better for use of just like one topic. It's not a great life planner. And so I kept going back to it because I just wasn't sure what might work better. And then my friend randomly gave me this planner because she said it wasn't working for her. And this is the Home Planner, and this is by Passionate Penny Pincher. And I honestly have just been loving this. She said that all the check marks and to-do lists were too much for her, but I really like a checklist. And if you're somebody that like it bugs you to have unchecked items, this might not be the planner for you. But I always overplan my days anyways. I am very optimistic in that way. So I am used to unchecked things. So I'm okay with that. I just like that it tells me exactly what I'm supposed to do. So for example, it has some things that it repeats every week for chores or every day for chores. But then it changes certain things out each week so that you don't forget to do certain things like wiping down light switches, wiping baseboards, cleaning your window screens, just random chores like that sometimes get put on the back burner. It reminds you to do those at a time where it makes sense to do those. So anyways, I've been really liking that. It has places to write your meals down, your own to-do lists, and so I've been really liking that. So that might be my go-to planner from now on. I'll update on that if I ever decide to change it or decide it's not working for me for some reason, but I've been really liking it. So that's what I use to keep my own tasks straight. I started the year with the plum paper planner, and that's why my homeschool weeks are still in that. I just started using the home planner this last month, so I just haven't switched it over. So that brings me to our weekly and daily routines. I have some different chore lists and my own homeschool checklist that I keep on our refrigerator. And I do that because we do most of our homeschooling at our dining table. So it's like 5 steps. We're in a tiny house. So that way I can quickly check things off, make sure that I haven't forgotten anything. Because like I said, I can be a space case. So as long as I have this where I can see it, I know that I'm keeping myself accountable and I'm keeping my children accountable to what we said we were going to do for school that day. So this hangs on my fridge. I have all of our chore lists in these slip covers. These are awesome for homeschooling. So like the sheet protectors, I really recommend getting some for homeschooling because they're pretty cheap from Amazon, but you get a lot. But we use them for maybe like practicing math equations. We use them for name writing practice, shape practice, doodle practice, things like that, especially for my younger 2 kids. But then I keep my routines in these so that I can just use an expo marker and wipe it off really quickly. And what I like about this versus laminating is if I need to make a change, I can just do that, reprint it, and slide it right back into the sheet protector, and I don't have to like go through all the pains of laminating something. So let me take it out because it's kind of hard to see, but this, you'll see that this says Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and that's because on Mondays we do our homeschool co-op. So they're still learning on that day, but it's a 6-hour co-op day, so they're not doing their typical homeschooling curriculum on that day. So that's why we school our traditional homeschooling curriculum, our math, language arts, history, science, those sorts of things. We do those 4 days a week, Tuesday through Friday. And you'll see this line's thicker because this is kind of our group morning basket time. There's a couple other things that we do that aren't a daily thing that I don't have listed on here. But basically we start off with our calendar time. We do our family Bible time. Then we do our history or science. We switch back and forth on those, and our family read aloud. And this, sometimes we have 2 or 3 things we're reading together as a family. Sometimes it's just one, so I just have that listed as our read aloud. You'll notice that this is blocked off on Wednesday. That's because on Wednesdays I work about 6 hours on Wednesdays, and that's my day that I prep all of our children's ministry stuff, and I prep all of our co-op stuff. And so we squeeze our school day in to end before lunchtime, and then I go down and work. So you'll see a few things blocked off on Wednesdays because we kind of condense our school day down to the bare necessities on that day. But then once we get morning basket done, you'll see Ben math, Olivia math, Luke math. Some of the kids might be working on these things simultaneously. But this just makes sure that I know that they've completed that. Then you'll see all of their language arts listed, independent work, handwriting and explode the code is something that they're all doing. And then I have lunch on there. And that's just typically where we get in our school day before we have lunch. And then after lunch, I have down here, read with Olivia, read with Luke, check piano progress, and check Ben and Olivia's schoolwork. So you'll notice that there aren't any times on this homeschool checklist. We have a goal of starting by 9 a.m., but everything takes different times, different days. There might be a day where we spend 20 minutes doing math. There might be another day where we need an hour to do math. And so adding times would just add extra stress onto our day. We just know that these are the things we have to get done before our school day can end. So we just work on these things until we're done. Some days our school day ends at 1 o'clock. Some days we might get started later or have some interruptions and our school day doesn't end until 4 o'clock. That's just the honest truth of the matter, but no matter what time we start and finish, these are the things that have to get done. And so that's why that list works for us. My kids also have their own checklists that they keep in their homeschooling boxes. And I have one for my 4th grader, and I have one for my 2nd grader. My kindergartner does not have one because I am solely responsible for him getting each and everything done. I have these because I help my 2nd grader especially gets help with almost everything still. My 4th grader gets helped with a few things still, but this is teaching them independence to kind of check and start moving on to the next thing on their own if I'm busy with another child. And they know if they are maybe done with their math, but they had a couple questions on something, they can move right along to language arts. They can move right along to something else that's not checked on the list. And they also know they cannot move on and have free time until all of these things are checked off. So that gives them accountability there too. So their days are really similar for a 4th grader and a 2nd grader. My son has a couple curriculums that are different than my 2nd grader's curriculums. And my son can fully read independently, where my 2nd grade daughter still needs some help reading and needs me to follow along with her to help her with pronunciation of certain words. So those are the things that differ on here. But basically, they have family Bible, science or history, family read aloud. My son has typing. My daughter has Explode the Code. They both have handwriting. On my sons and daughters, they both are in piano, so practicing piano is on their list. Reading is on their list, math, like language arts, and then it ends with have mom check your work, so they know not to put their stuff away until I've checked their work. And it also says clean up your homeschool items, because they need that reminder sometimes. They do not sit there and check these off every single day, but if they're having a day where they seem to not know what's going on, we pull these back out so that they can be reminded of what their day should look like. I also wanted to add, just because these things are on their daily homeschool list does not mean that they are required to do these things on their own. This is not their independent checklist. These are all the items we do in your school day. Some of them are with mom, some of them are on your own, but they're all the things that you need to do before your school day is done. Then we have chore lists. Again, these hang on our refrigerator in these sheet protectors, so that they can mark off their things as they do them. I know this looks like a lot, but this is each day. And for my kids' ages, I itemize a lot of things out so that they can learn independence in those things as they get older. So for instance, I don't have just clean room on my preschooler's chore chart that she's learning to use. It's pick up the toys in your room, pick up clothes in your room, look for any trash in your room. And that teaches them kind of an order of events on how to properly clean their room, make your bed, so on and so forth. Same with learning hygiene. For my younger kids, it's brush your teeth, comb your hair, wash your face. It's not get ready for the day. And that is to teach that independence as they get older. You'll see the difference in my kindergartner's chore chart. He has very itemized things with pictures because he's not reading that great yet, whereas my older kids do not have pictures and their chores change a little bit day to day. But for instance, instead of pick up living room, most of these chores pertain to picking up the living room. Pick up shoes. Our living room ends up being a dumping ground for shoes. So pick up shoes. He knows to put those away and how to put those away because I've taught him how to put them away. Pick up trash. Pick up toys. These are all things that help with the overall cleanliness of the living room. Whereas my 2nd grader and 4th grader, it just says in their morning and evening chores, pick up living room. Because when they were younger, I itemized that out for them so they understood. Whereas now, my 10-year-old fully understands when I say pick up the living room, this is the list we go down to pick up the living room properly. While many of these things are chores or hygiene things that they should just know to do on the daily as they get older, that these are things that are just part of how we run as a household and part of just like being a person. My kids are young, and so this is teaching them that independence to know like a good order of doing those things in and setting that expectation at a young age. My oldest is 10, and I've been doing these chore charts since he was probably 5.5, 6, right around the time my youngest was born, and she's almost 4. So it just helps our day run smoothly. I will say my 5-year-old and 3-year-old are still learning the basics of their chore routines. My 3-year-old is basically just doing it for fun because she wants one. But my 5-year-old, we're really trying to train him how to pick up after himself, and so that's why he has a basic one that is the exact same every day. My 5-year-old and 3-year-old's chore chart is exactly the same. I'll share with you what is on theirs. There's, for the morning, it says go potty, get dressed. I lay out clothes for them, make their beds. They just kind of throw their blanket on there. I'm not too picky about that at this age. And then brush teeth and wash face. And then we do this before school, and we also do this in the evening. And this is pick up shoes, throw trash away. Sometimes like papers or things are left out. Pick up toys, pick up bedroom, and he knows that means pick up his clothes in the bedroom, pick up toys in the bedroom, and then pick up yard. And so that's if we played outside that day. Son and daughters they're a little different. Olivia has her morning chores, and these are pretty itemized. I could actually probably make it less itemized than this, but they like checking things off. So this says brush teeth and wash face, get dressed, comb hair, make bed. And then those things are basically, she knows to do those before breakfast. And then after breakfast, wipe down dining table, because that's where we do school. Empty the dishwasher, pick up dining floor, pick up living room, and get out school books. And those things are just like as needed. If we do a good job on our chores the night before, those ones go really, really quickly. And then Tuesday through Saturday, because like I said, Sundays are rest day, Monday is a co-op day, and so I don't have them do chores that day really, other than generally picking up because it's such a long day. So the rest of the week, her chores that she does every day are wipe tables in living room. So she uses like a disinfectant spray, like Mrs. Myers or something else like that, and just gives them a quick wipe down. Sweep the kitchen, pick up room, and pick up yard if we play outside. And these are all things that they complete after the school day ends. And then on Tuesday, her extra chore is to sort socks in the laundry baskets. On Wednesday, her extra chore is wipe down kitchen appliances. She just does a quick wipe of the refrigerator, the stove, the front of the dishwasher. Thursday, her extra chore is to dust the living room furniture. Friday, wipe down kitchen cabinets. Again, just with like some pledge, she wipes down the cabinet. And then her extra chore on Saturdays is, when needed, clean windows and or the blinds. So glass cleaner on the windows or some dusting of blinds. And that doesn't always need done. She knows if that doesn't need done, I might ask her to do something else. But based on how much we're home on Saturdays, that probably needs to happen most of the Saturdays that we're actually home able to do chores. And then these things are just an evening pickup. So these are the things that they're supposed to do after dinner. And it is tidy living room and bedroom, put dirty dishes in the sink, shower or wash your face, and brush teeth. My 10-year-old's is very similar. The only thing that's different in the morning is he's in charge of loading the dishwasher from breakfast dishes, and he is in charge of tidying the kids' bathroom. And then his chores that he has to do after the school day is over. Every day he cleans up the lunch dishes, he takes out bathroom trashes, he picks up his room, and he picks up the yard if it's a day that everybody's playing outside. And then his Tuesday chore is mop floors in the kitchen. Wednesday is vacuum the living room. Thursday is dust light fixtures, and that's in the bathrooms and in the living and dining. Friday, wipe down walls, doors, or baseboards. So those are all alternating. I have young kids, marks get on the walls, so that's why that's a chore that is weekly. And then Saturday, deep clean the bathroom. And so that's one that we're learning how to do a little more effectively. And then his evening chores are the same as his sister's. So having all of that typed out, ready for them to grab, I can just say, go get your chore list. I know exactly what to do. They love marking it off. And it makes it so I can get right back to what I need to do. I had a visitor join me. Ava, can you say hi? Having those chore lists ready for them to grab makes it so I can say, hey, you need to complete these tasks, and they know exactly what those tasks are so that I can more quickly and effectively get back to making dinner, maybe finishing school with another kid, just whatever my day holds, I can get back to those things, and they know what to do without me having to think about it or them having to think about it. So that works really, really well for our family. So I know those systems might not work for everybody, or those schedules might not work for everybody, but they work really well for my family and for our homeschool. And I know that, come here. And I know that seeing what other people do is always very helpful to me. So I hope that that was hopeful to you, to see how we schedule out our year, schedule our days, and how we implement chores into our homeschool day. So thank you guys for watching, you little stinker. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Make sure you give a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Have a wonderful day. Bye.